Welcome back everyone, Triple M here. Today we're taking a look at Walmart's new budget streaming device that's coming in at $29. Now this is of course the on Android TV UHD streaming device, and it does have a lot of cool features which I think puts it in competition not only with the Firestick but also with the Chromecast with Google TV. Now as far as some of the main features, it does have 4K streaming, Dolby audio, and it does run Android TV. So this video we're going to do a quick unboxing. We're going to set it up, of course. We're going to see what we can do, test the Wi-Fi chip, do a speed test, do some gaming, test out the streaming apps. Of course we're going to see if we can add storage, adapt storage, and we are going to do a benchmark, see where it stacks up against those other devices. And at the end I'll let you guys know if I would recommend this device or not. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Now before I get out of the box, just wanted to let you know that this is not currently available online. Now we'll leave a link where you can go ahead and view it on walmart.com. However, your best chance of picking one up currently is going to your Walmart store, and they should have some available. Having said that, they do have two new devices that they released. The one that we're looking at is the 4K version. They also have a streaming stick that they released that plays back at 2K, $5 less, but in my opinion, if you're going to pick up either one of these devices, this is the one you want to go for. Now as far as some of the specifications, of course this is going to be a 4K streaming stick, easy setup, plugs and play, Android TV, as well as Dolby audio. So some of the other specifications, it does come with Android TV 10 stock, so this is the official Android TV version, quad core ARM Cortex A53, which maxes out at 1.8 gigahertz. The GPU is a Mali G31, 2 gigs of RAM, 5 gigs of internal storage. Wi-Fi is going to be 802.11 ABGN as well as AC with MIMO, and it is compatible with the 2.4 as well as the 5 gigahertz network. And last but not least, it does have Bluetooth 4.0. Now once we get it set up and into the operating system, we are going to do a speed test just to see how well the Wi-Fi is performing. We're also going to do a benchmark and see where it stacks up next to the Amazon Fire TV Stick as well as the Chromecast. As far as what's in the box, first thing you're going to have is the quick start guide or the instruction manual. Now of course this is going to be standard, basically going to tell you how to set everything up, how to get started, and what the buttons on the remote does. Next we have the remote controller, which did come with two AAA batteries, so kudos for them. Now this remote is a lot nicer than I anticipated, guys. The buttons feel really good, nice hard rubber, and you can see some of the buttons right there. So up top we're going to have our power, we're also going to have our input, Google Assistant, and we have a bookmark and settings button. So settings will quickly get you to your settings once you're in the user interface. Below that you have your back, your home, your TV guide, which brings up YouTube TV. You also have your volume up and down, mute, channel up and down, and then you have your dedicated quick launch buttons, and these are for YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus, as well as HBO Max. Now comparison to the Google TV and the Fire TV Stick, like I said, is right there. The well-built remote in my opinion looks really nice and fits good in your hands, and it works well once it gets into the operating system. Now one thing I would recommend, and to any manufacturer, if you're making a remote, it's time to make the Air Mouse standard, guys. Just go ahead and just add it. It won't be that much, and it will add a lot of value to your device. Now here's the power brick. This is going to be micro USB, and I will be doing a test a little bit later just to see if an OTG adapter will work. We also got an HDMI cable, and here's the device itself. Now this device is a lot smaller than I anticipated. Here's what it looks like next to the Chromecast as well as the Amazon Fire TV Stick. The size is going to be smaller depending how you view it. It doesn't have the dongle with the HDMI coming out like the Google TV, but it's awkward where they put the ports, and I'll never get used to it. You can see they have ports on the opposite side, and this just makes this device impossible to display. Basically you have to put it behind the TV and forget about it. So you can see the ports, you have a micro USB on one side, nothing on the other side. On the opposite side we have HDMI out, and then we have a button with an LED indicator, and the button is a pairing button, so you should be able to use this to pair the remote. As I was saying, the whole connecting the cable is going to be a mess either way, so better off put it behind your TV and forget about it. Now connecting the device and setting it up was pretty straightforward. First you set up your remote, which basically you hold two buttons, the device automatically recognizes it. Then you can select your language and continue with the setup. Now if you have an Android phone, the setup is really easy, guys. You can basically put the code in, go to your phone, and then sign in through your device. Now once everything was set up, I did do an update which took a couple minutes. Now after the update, I got back into the OS. It did ask me which applications I want to install by default. I just basically left the ones that were checked and just continued through the process. So the user interface is pretty snappy. It works pretty well. And like I said, with Android TV, you do have that ability to kind of customize what you want it to do. So you can move your rows up and down. And you can do everything that you would be able to do on the NVIDIA Shield TV. Now, if you guys remember, there is a button, a bookmark button. So if you click the bookmark button while you're hovering over an app, you do have those options pop up. And these are the same options that you'll get on NVIDIA if you do a long press, which also works on this device. So technically, the bookmark button isn't needed because you can always do a long press to kind of do the same thing, but maybe there are other uses that I'm not catching. Now, I did go ahead and run a benchmark on this device, and what that does is just basically test the performance, test the graphics, test the CPU, and kind of see where it stands up. Now, the overall score is a 357 for the new on 4K streaming device. Now, just to put that in comparison, the Chromecast or Google TV scores a 576 on the same test. The TiVo Stream 4K 520 and the Amazon Fire TV Stick scored a 367. Now, speed test, I did score about a 288 on average down and about 23 to 24 upload. Now, I am paying for 400 megabits per second, and that's quite of a drop off, but when you compare it to what other devices are scoring, the TiVo, I believe, scored 308, and they're all within that same range. So that's about average for a device of this type. Wi-Fi performance is going to be solid with this device. Now, one thing I wanted to do is just test the OTG adapter just to see if it works. Now, with the OTG adapter, guys, you can do a lot of different things, from add Bluetooth device to add a wired network connection to add in more storage if you need to. So that's why I wanted to hook it up, just to make sure that this worked. Now, when I got it hooked up, guys, I have a couple adapters that I wanted to test out. Initially, I started out testing two U-Green adapters, and these work well on the other devices that I have. However, I couldn't get them to consistently work well on this. Not sure if it's a driver issue or it's a hardware issue, but couldn't get the U-Green adapters to work. Now, I did have another generic adapter that worked partially, but it wouldn't give me a complete reading, so it seemed like the network was in and out. The one that worked decently, and by decently, the one that stayed connected to this device, it actually gave me a speed test, was the Amazon Fire TV Stick adapter. Now, this one does have the same concept as the other devices. However, it was manufactured by Amazon. Now, although it worked, it did not work well. So you can see my reading here dropped another 200 megabits per second. I'm getting only 92 on the download, but upload was around the same, about 23 or 24. So in my opinion, unless your Wi-Fi is extremely horrible, I would stick with it over using an adapter, at least for now. So streaming is where I think this device is targeting, and the streaming apps works and they work well. So you do have Netflix, of course. Netflix is going to work well with this device. Remember, this is an official Android TV device, so you shouldn't have any issues there with compatibility from Netflix. So can't really demo any of these TV shows or movies because I will get flagged, but I was able to go in and play everything with no issues. Now, as far as YouTube, remember there is a dedicated YouTube button as well. And YouTube works well. So this is a 4K video. You can see it's set to 4K 2160p. And if I go and I put up stats for nerds, you can kind of see the frame rates, and that is keeping up pretty well. So the monitor I'm playing this on is a 1080p monitor, but you can see the current optimal resolution is 3840 by 2160 at 30 frames per second. So playing this video, you can see it dropped only 2 frames of about 1400. So it's doing pretty well. Below, it kind of gives you the connection speed, the network activity, as well as the buffer health. So this is going to be good for streaming 4K 1080p, whatever you want on YouTube. This should be able to handle it well. And you do have other streaming apps on here, Disney Plus, if you have a subscription, Hulu, HBO Max will work. You have your Prime videos on here. Plex is another one that's going to work well on here. Even if you're not signed into Plex, guys, there's still a lot of content out there. So Plex, if you haven't checked it out recently, has live TV, has movies, has web shows, podcasts, has a lot of content on here. And it's not like the old Plex where you had to kind of put your own media on here. You still have that option, but you still have a lot of freebies in here. That also works pretty well. We do have Zumo on here, and Zumo is another free live TV application along with Pluto TV. So definitely check that out if you're into streaming and cutting the cable cord. Now, Live Channels app, a lot of people asked me about that in the past. This is currently installed, and what this can do, guys, it combine a lot of those services, put them in one place. That way you can kind of consolidate your services into one. So if you guys have Pluto, Zumo, maybe even an HD home run or antenna on your network, you should be able to combine them and view them in the Live Channels application. Now, I was able to use the same OTG adapter and connect a wireless Air mouse / keyboard, and this is one that I reviewed a couple months back, and I'll go ahead and link that video if you want to check it out. This is a great device in my opinion. It has a keyboard on one side, basic buttons on the other side, backlit, and it works really well. Now, using the same OTG adapter, I was able to add a USB drive, add a hard drive, could add additional storage. However, I did not see the option to adapt storage, which makes your drive combine with the drive that it came with. So that's something I'll have to look into. But for now, it looks like you cannot adapt storage. You can add storage, which works as a portable storage device. So you can grab files, drop it on there, plug it, unplug it when you go, but it won't combine this drive with the original drive of the device. So having said that, I was able to interact with everything on the USB drive, guys. You can see I have a couple photos here. I have a couple videos of one of my reviews that I did not too long ago. Also, I have a couple 4K videos that I was able to play directly from the USB with no issue. So definitely promising, and you do have fast enough speeds to play a 4K video from the actual OTG adapter. And the last thing I did, of course, was install an application, and this would kind of simulate you installing a third-party app from a USB device. So if you're someone that have your apps on a USB drive, you should be able to plug it into an OTG adapter and install it with no issues. Now, for you guys that install applications either via file link or download or whatever the case is, this device will allow you to do that with no issues. As you can see, that I was able to get downloaded from the App Store. Then I was able to go to downloader, get file link, and you guys know once you get file link installed, all you need to do is put in a store code to whatever store you have in mind, and you should be able to download those third-party applications, no issues at all. Now, when it comes to gaming, this is gonna be just like any other budget device, whether it's a Chromecast, a Firestick, or the TiVo Stream 4K. This is gonna play the games. It's not gonna be a gaming device, so you wouldn't purchase this to strictly do some gaming. As you can see here, I am playing Asphalt. It is working well. Most of the games in the Play Store should work well on this with no problem. Now, my final thought on this device, the device was extremely tiny, which is a good thing, good for portability, good to kind of move around, take on the go with you. The remote, I thought they did a great job on the remote. It was really excellent, guys. Google Assistant worked with no issues. The navigation, all the buttons, they didn't overdo it. I feel like it's in that sweet spot with the Fire TV stick as well as a Chromecast remote. Now, this device was marketed to streamers. So if you're buying this to stream, whether it's your Netflix, your Amazon Prime videos, YouTube videos, whether it's in 4K 1080p, this is a device that you want to get. Love the fact that it does have the Android TV user interface. I do prefer that over the Fire UI. Love the fact that it is really snappy, guys. I was able to go through the menus, navigate. I was able to play content, no issues. And I think at $29, it is at the right price point. So as far as the negatives, like I said, the main thing is how the device really is set up with the ports on either side. Because of the placement of the ports, the only option here is to just stick it behind the TV and forget that it exists. And maybe that's how it was manufactured to be, but I like to display my devices, and a lot of people have complained about the same things. Overall, I think it's a good buy. Chromecast with Google TV is going to be a better device. Also, the TiVo Stream 4K is going to be a better device as well. This might compete with the Fire TV Stick 4K. It just really comes down to which user interface and ecosystem you prefer and you're used to. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I will be leaving a link in the description to walmart.com. However, it is not currently available on the website. You have to go into the store to grab one. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.